Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but I couldn't resist going live and sharing the absolutely adorable Storybook Gnomes Suite with you. So if my voice is a little crackly or I sound a little bit stuffy, that's just whatever's going on with me. It's not COVID. I've done a test. We're good. I just think I've picked up some kind of cold, or maybe it's even allergies. Who knows? This time of year, there's so many things that could be going on. In any case, I am here and I am so excited to share this adorable suite with you. I have had so much fun playing with this. Like, I can't stop. It's bad. I need to put it away because I have so many other products that are waiting for my attention. But oh my goodness, it's just the cutest suite of products. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to make 3 with you today. I have a ton of other samples to share with you. I'm going to show you the products, some of the products that are in the suite and the ones that I'm going to be using today, and then we're going to get to it. Okay. Now, just as people are joining, a couple of reminders. Sale-a-bration, summer Sale-a-bration is almost over. It finishes up on the 31st, which is a week from tomorrow. So we have like 7.5 days left of Sale-a-bration. So you'll want to pick up those last minute things before your chance to get your freebies runs out. Also, just a reminder that starting September 1st, there's going to be a new offering of coordinating dies with several stamp sets from both the mini and the annual catalog. So next week, I'm actually going to be featuring one of those new bundles. So the stamp set is in the mini, but the dies are going to be released September 1st. So I'm excited to share those with you. I've been working with those a little bit too. So lots to talk about today. Let me pull up my video here on my iPad so I can see who's joining me. Let's see who's here. Hi, Mavis. Hi, Laura, Julie, Penny, Linda. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Now, I'm going to warn you, ladies, my neighbor whose like house is right there, has decided now would be a really good time to use his extremely loud weed whacker and clean up his yard. So I heard him start it up about 5 minutes before I went live, and I'm just praying that he does the other side of the yard first and doesn't get to my side of the yard until after my video's done, because it is seriously the loudest. It sounds like a chainsaw. It's the loudest weed whacker you've ever heard. So hopefully we won't get drowned out by the weed whacker. But hopefully you'll be able to just appreciate the adorable projects I'm working on. And even if I do get drowned out, because let me tell you, it's loud. Anyway. Let's see. Oh, we've got Deb here. Hi, Deb. Welcome home. I'm glad you made it home safely. Hi, Margie. So good to see you. All right. So I'm going to flip my camera. I'm going to show you where the products are found in the catalog. I'm going to show you the products, and then we're going to do some stamping. Okay. So let's do the flipperoo here. Make sure we're straight and centered. That looks pretty good. A little saggy. We'll just move that up a bit. There we go. All right, we are good to go. So the Storybook Gnomes Suite is found on pages 42 and 43 in the mini catalog. It's one of the first suites that I just went, fell in love with. So cute. And so this suite is kind of portrayed as kind of a Christmassy sort of vibe, but there are so many things you can do with this suite. I'll show you some samples. I posted a few yesterday that are totally non-Christmas. And in fact, the second card we're going to make today is not Christmas. So I wanted to showcase the versatility of this suite. You're also going to see me using it with a bunch of different products. So it is a great addition because you can do so many adorable things with it. So we have, the suite includes the bundle, the DSP, some cute ribbon, which is actually not orderable right now, some fabulous embellishments, and this cool snowfall puff paint. Now we had this a couple of years ago. It's so fun. It's heat activated. So you just put it on your products, hit it with your heat tool, and it puffs up and it looks like snow. It's really cute. So let me show you the products up close. So here is the stamp set. Absolutely adorable little gnomes, all these little characters. I love that there's a female gnome because honestly, without female gnomes, there would be no gnomes, right? So it's nice to have some female representation in our little gnome stamp set here. And then of course we have some fun little sentiments, little pun happening there. And of course we have coordinating dies. So these dies cut out your stamped images. And then we have these fun build a gnome dies, which you're going to see in action in a little bit. A little bit of grass, some toadstools, just super cute. So that is the bundle. And then of course we have adorable designer series paper. Now this is cut down to 6x6. It's left over from my paper share, but it'll give you an idea. This DSP is actually 12x12, but it'll give you an idea of the pattern. So we've got some little toadstools. We've got a little gnome village. We've got adorable woodland creatures, some sort of wintry scenes, mountains, and then some cute little gnomies that actually we can cut out with the dies. So let me see if I can find the coordinating dies. So this one I think goes here, and this one cuts out our little girl gnome over here. So awesome that we have coordinating dies that cut out the DSP, so no fussy cutting required. Of course, when we flip our paper over, we have more fantastic patterns. Here is our little toadstool house, which again coordinates with the die set. And again, some just fantastic Christmas and winter patterns on the back side. So really versatile DSP, lots and lots of fun. Cute embellishments. So these are sparkly. There are some sweet sorbet ones tucked up underneath there. So we've got 4 colors in the package. So cute. And now for some stamping. Oh, let's see who else has joined. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Jill. Welcome. Hi, Cheryl. All right, so first card we're going to make has almost no stamping. In fact, the only stamping we're going to do is on the inside of the card because I've already stamped and heat embossed this one. So this is all about the DSP. It's a cute little easel card. Stands up like this. So you have this cute little scene with our gnome and his dear friend standing in front of his toadstool house. So I'm going to show you how to make this one. It's a really quick and easy one. I just realized I didn't bring my trimmer over. Got to grab my trimmer. All right, so to start, we start with just a standard card base. Okay, so this is Pacific Point cardstock. It is 8.5 by 5.5 inches, and it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So your standard card base. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn it with the short side at the top, and I'm going to insert it so my left edge is at the 1 1/4 inch mark. I'm going to start with my cutting blade at the score line. So I'm just going to line that up with the score line, and I'm going to cut up towards the top. When I lift that up, you're going to see I have 1 flap. So then I'm going to use my right hand ruler, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line it up at the 1 1/4 inch mark. And this time I'm going to start at the top because that just happens to be where it is. And I'm going to cut down to the score line. Oh, it needs to go just a titch further. There we go. All right, so now we have our 2 flaps. That's all there is to it, aside from 1 additional score line. So now that I've made those 2 cuts, I am going to rotate my cardstock so that now the cut edges are to the left. And I'm going to line up that left edge at 2 3/4 inches. I'm just going to line that up. And I'm going to score between the score lines. Now, if you don't trust yourself, between the cut lines, if you don't trust yourself, you can use your bone folder. So use your bone folder in the track instead. I prefer to use my blade, but if you are not really confident with seeing where your cut lines are, you can use your bone folder. Okay, so there is, did I do that right? No, I did not. It should be 2 1/8. I was thinking the wrong way. That's okay. 2 1/8 inches. There we go. That extra score line won't matter. All right, it was 2 1/8, not 2 3/4. Wrong orientation for that. Okay, so that is our card base. Super simple. So we're going to start by folding our flaps in. So I'm going to start with this guy. We want to fold it inwards and make sure everything lines up. We get a nice, straight, even card base. We're going to do the same thing with this other side. Okay, and then we're going to fold this center one in. And again, we just want to make sure that everything lines up nice and even. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually glue these 2 side flaps down flat. So I'm just going to use a little bit of seal and fold that over. And again, you just want to take your time and make sure that these fold nice and straight. Okay, so there's 1. Oh, here comes the weed whacker. I can hear it getting closer. It's like impending doom outside my window. All right, so there we go. Okay, now we are going to add some DSP. So I have 2 little strips of DSP here. Oops, I'm throwing them on the floor. Here we go. One, where'd my other one go? Did it fall on the floor? It did fall on the floor. There we go. Okay, so we have our 2 little strips. These are cut to 1 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay, so actually these are actually 1 1/8, I think. So 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. So they are going to get glued on our little side panels like that. Now I have a really narrow border here, so I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue just so that I can wiggle these into place and get them exactly where I want them. Come on. There we go. And then same thing on the other side. Hi, Krista. Hi, Wendy. Welcome. Glad you could join me this afternoon. Seems wrong to be doing a Christmas card when it's such a gorgeous day out, but what can I say? We got to start early, us crafters. Okay, so there are our little side panels. I'm going to set this aside for a minute, and we are going to work on our center panel. So I have here a piece of basic white cardstock. It is cut to 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And then I have a piece of the Storybook Gnomes Designer Paper that is cut to 2 3/4 by 4. Okay, so those are going to layer, again, really narrow border. So we'll just add a little bit of glue and pop this on. Hi, Rita. How are you? Hope you are well and enjoying this gorgeous day. It's so beautiful out. All right, there we go. And now we're going to build our little scene. So I have some die cut pieces. I've got our little toadstool house and our little gnome that we've cut using the dies. And then I have a cute little deer that I fussy cut. So we're going to start by gluing on our toadstool. So it's going to hang off the edge a little bit. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue kind of along the one side. And it's going to sit right about there. Okay. And then our little deer, we're going to put on the opposite side, and we're going to pop him up. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals. So just going to put a dimensional on the head and the body, but I'm not going to worry too much. I might put one on the belly. I'll put a mini on the belly because I don't want to have anything hanging off the edge of my card, right? Because otherwise it'll stick it shut, and we don't want to do that. So let's pop this on. Hi, Nancy. Hi, June. Welcome. Glad you could join me. So we're going to kind of pop that on right about there. And again, we just want to make sure there's no dimensionals hanging off the end there. And then our little gnome is going to get popped up standing in front of his house. So we'll add a couple of dimensionals to him. And we'll pop him up. And there he is. Okay, isn't that adorable? Love it so much. All right, now this is going to get glued onto our base. Now, we're going to ignore that extra score line that I accidentally did. We're going to fold along the 2 1/8 score line, the correct one, because this is what's going to allow our card to pop up. Okay, we're just going to pretend that one isn't there. Okay, so we're going to adhere this. Now, if I fold this flat again, we're going to adhere this so that our back panel, our background panel here is centered on that flap. It's easier to see actually if I open it up. There, that's better. And you can see that we have that narrow little blue border all the way around. Now, the important part here is to make sure we're only applying adhesive to the bottom half of this little section here. We're not putting it up here because that will not allow our easel to stand up. So we're going to just add a little bit of glue here. And we're going to pop this on. We're going to center it on here as though we were gluing it all the way around, but we're not actually gluing it all the way around. Okay, so then when I open this up, my easel will open. Okay, all right, so let's finish up here. We're going to add this cute little sentiment. So I should mention this is heat embossed in white on pool. No, not Pool Party, Pacific Point cardstock. It's one of the P cardstocks. And I've die cut it using the snow, wait a minute, they're right here, Frosted Flurry dies. Okay, that is also where this little snowflake came from. So we're going to adhere this little snowflake. The snowflake's cut from the white glimmer paper. So we're just going to adhere our little snowflake behind our label there. And then that is going to get stuck on with a couple of dimensionals. So we'll go 1 and 2. Now again, I don't want to put dimensionals all the way across because again, my label's going to hang off the edge. So we're going to go ahead and add our sentiment label right about there. Okay, and then we're going to tie a cute little bow and add that to the center of our snowflake. So it almost will look like the label is tied to the snowflake. So I've just got a little bit of white baker's twine here, which is insisting on twisting. So we're going to try that again. I always find that if your baker's twine is twisting, it's better not to fight it. Just pull it out and start again. That's what I find, rather than trying to get it to cooperate with you. Sometimes you just need to admit defeat and start over. So there we go. There's our cute little bow. We're going to trim that off the roll. And then I'm going to grab a glue dot, roll it into a little glue booger here. And we're going to stick that just on the end of our label. And then we're going to press the knot of our bow into that little glue dot. And you just kind of want to massage it to make sure that it's well pressed into the glue dot so it's not sticky, because you don't want, you know, people sticking to the card when they're opening it. All right, so that is it basically, except we've forgotten some really important elements. So on any easel card, it is important to have a popped element that catches the easel and keeps it standing up. Okay, so we need to add that. Now before we do, we need to add our inside panel. So I've got another piece of basic white, same dimensions as the one on the front, 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And that is going to fit inside quite nicely here. Now, before we do that, we are going to stamp. There is going to be a little bit of stamping on this card, and that is our inside sentiment. So I've got my Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we're going to stamp that. Now, I'm going to stamp it a little bit lower than I maybe normally would on the inside of a card, and that's because, again, our easel is going to cover part of that top section. So we're going to just add a little bit of adhesive here and pop this inside our card. And that's going to fit just perfectly. And again, we're just kind of paying attention to our top and bottom edges, making sure they line up. Okay. Now, so these little snowflakes, again, are cut. These ones are from that Frosted Flurry die set, and then these ones are from the spruced up dies, these little guys. Now, it is impossible to pop these up using a dimensional. They're so teeny tiny. There's not enough real estate to stick a dimensional on. So I used some of our foam adhesive sheets. I just took a whole sheet and stuck it to the back of a piece of basic white cardstock and ran it through and die cut my snowflakes. So they end up being dimensional. The whole snowflake is dimensional. And that works perfectly to catch my easel. So that is something to think about when you are using these little snowflakes. The adhesive sheets, the foam adhesive sheets are a great solution for catching your easel. Okay, so I've got this guy here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to rotate that a little bit if I can. Should have thought about that first. Just peel that up. There we go. We're going to rotate this and bring it down a little bit. I think I want it about there. That's better. Okay, and then I'm going to take my other large one. It's going to go on the other side. It is a cute font, Laura. It's a very simple font, which just works really well with the storybook idea, right? Really, really cute, simple font. All right, so I'm going to stand my easel up here, and I'm going to have another snowflake that's going to catch the other side. Okay, and then I've got some more little guys. So we're just going to pop these out and stick them on. So we have a little snow flurry happening on the front of our card. So 2 on one side and 2 on the other. Okay. And now we have to, in order for them to be snow, we have to add a little bit of sparkle. So we're going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella to our puffy snowflakes. Now, if you really wanted to make these pop, you could add a little bit of the puff paint and make them really, really fluffy snowflakes. And then we're going to add some embellishments, but apparently I forgot to bring them over. Where did I put that pack? There they are. Okay. So we are going to add some embellishments. I used the lighter ones on my sample. I think I'm going to use the darker ones on this one just to be different. So these little embellishments, there's larger and smaller ones. So the larger ones are perfect for the larger snowflakes. And the smaller ones are perfect for the smaller snowflakes. So stinking cute. And one more right there. There we go. So there is your cute little Storybook Gnomes Christmas card. You like that one? No stamping. Well, only a sentiment stamped. Super, super easy. All DSP. Okay. So that is number 1. Hi, Sonia. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. All right, let's move on. So we're going to leave Christmas for a few minutes and we're going to focus on fall. So this little fella I posted yesterday, I absolutely cannot get enough of these little builder dies. I love playing around with these little gnomes and dressing them in different colors and patterns and whatnot. It's just too fun. So I'm going to show you how I put this one together. I've done most of the work ahead of time because there is a fair bit of coloring involved. So this wreath die is actually from the Natural Prints die set. Okay, it's from the annual catalog, and so I colored it in fall colors. I used, I'll just tell you, Dark Daffodil Delight, Dark Cajun Craze, Dark Soft Suede, Dark Cherry Cobbler, and Dark Mossy Meadow. Okay, so all the dark sort of earth tones to create my wreath. Love the look of that. Then we have our embossed background. So this is a piece of crumb cake cardstock. It's 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And I've embossed it using the Leaf Fall embossing folder, which is one of my absolute favorites in the new catalog or the new mini. Okay. So we're going to start by sticking down our wreath. Now I've already put some adhesive sheets on the back of this before I die cut it. That makes sticking this guy down much, much easier. If you have not tried the adhesive sheets yet, I can't say enough about them. I use them almost every week. If you've been watching me for any length of time, you will see me using these pretty much every week because they are just the quickest and easiest way to adhere delicate die cuts. So the only thing with this wreath is you just want to take your time peeling the backing off. You don't want to rip anything. So we're going to put this on kind of like that. I kind of want these little oak leaves here to be hanging out to the right. So we're going to stick that down. Okay. So I did mention I use my Stampin' Blends to color these. Okay. I gave you the colors, but I didn't, not sure if I mentioned that I use Stampin' Blends. Okay. So there's my little wreath. And then we're going to build our pumpkin. So this is from the Rustic Pumpkin dies. I used these a while back. Remember I said this looks like a cucumber or a zucchini, but you can build a really cute little pumpkin with these die cuts. So we're going to layer them this way to build our pumpkin. So I cut these out of pumpkin pie cardstock and added a little bit of Cajun Craze ink around the edges just to darken them down and give them some dimension. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of adhesive to this center one. So on the center one, you'll notice I went all the way around with the Cajun Craze ink. On the back ones, I did on one on the left side, one on the right. Okay, so I'm going to layer 1 and 2, and there's my cute little pumpkin. Isn't that easy? And then again, we have our little stem also from the Rustic Pumpkin dies. That's going to get adhered to the back of our pumpkins. We'll just add a little bit of adhesive there and pop that on. That has been sponged with a little bit of crumb cake, so tone on tone with that. And then we have these fantastic vines, also from the Rustic Pumpkin dies. You're going to see me using these a lot this fall because I love them. And they work with so many different product suites and stamp sets in the catalog. So you're going to see me using them a lot. So I have die cut these little vines from Mossy Meadow cardstock. Again, I've used adhesive sheets on the back. You would not want to be trying to stick these down with liquid glue. They're just so delicate. So make it easy on yourself and just use the adhesive sheets. So we're going to kind of have our vines curling around our pumpkin here, just like that. Okay, this guy we're going to save for our gnome. Speaking of our gnome, we have all of our gnome parts here. So these are all cut using the gnome builder dies. Well, the gnome dies, there are builder dies in that set. So I've cut this from some of the Color Family Designer Series paper in Mossy Meadow. We've just got a basic white beard, crumb cake pants, and then we have petal pink nose and hands. Okay, so to build our gnome, the really cool thing about these dies is they actually emboss where the hat's going to go. So there's actually like a little guide there for sticking it down. It's so simple. So we're going to go ahead and add just a touch of glue. And then we're going to stick our hat on and just kind of follow the guide there. It shows you where to put it. Okay, no guesswork, no guesswork involved. And then we have a nose. So we're going to adhere the nose. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here. You can certainly pop this up if you wanted to, but on this guy, I decided to keep him flat. It's going to have a flatter nose. And again, there's a guide that shows you right where to put the nose. So you can get it in just the right spot. Okay. And then we're going to add his feet. So a little bit of glue. Again, I've sponged these. They're cut from crumb cake cardstock, and I've sponged them with ink of the same shade. So we're just going to add the feet, and there is our adorable little gnome. Is he not just the cutest? Oh, love him. All right. So our gnome is going to be standing just in front of our pumpkin. So he's just going to kind of be standing there like that. So we're going to add a little bit of glue to the left side of our pumpkin. And we're going to add our little gnome, and he's just going to be kind of standing off beside the pumpkin, just like that. Okay, so then that is going to get put on the front of our card. We're going to pop it up. So we'll add a couple of dimensionals here. Whoops, I almost stuck it to my fingernail. One there and one there. We'll get rid of our backings. And then we're going to pop this guy on. So the wreath is kind of, it's got kind of two purposes. It's to sort of frame our focal image, but it also is to ground it. Okay, so having that in the background just kind of pulls the whole thing together. Now we have two little hands here, and we have our little die cut. So this is just a little banner, die cut using the Stylish Shapes dies. And I wanted to have a thank you card. So what did I do? Oh, I forgot to sponge my beard. Oh, well. On my sample, I should mention, can you see that I sponged the beard with a little bit of smoky slate? I forgot to do that on here. Not a biggie. But we are going to stamp our sentiment in some early espresso ink. Now, this sentiment, a little note of thanks, is actually from the Sweet Songbird stamp set. And I thought it was just cute, and the font was cute and perfect for a little fall thank you card. And I wish I could change it to a little gnome of thanks. I think that would be really cute. But my printing is not that neat, so I decided that I would not attempt it. So then we're going to use these little pieces, which they can be used as the gnome, but they can also be used as his hands. So his hands are going to be holding our sign here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stick this on first so that I can get the hands in the right spot. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of our sign. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Martine. Aren't these gnomes cute? I absolutely love these little guys. They're so fun. So we're just going to add some hands. So he's going to be having his right hand right here. And his left hand right about here. Okay, so there he is. Hands holding the sign. Whoops, his hand's falling off. Don't fall off, little hand. There we go. And then it's just a matter of adhering it to our card base. Oh, I forgot to add our little vine. So our little vine is this long vine is going to peek out from under our sign. So I'm going to see if I can tuck this underneath. Just like that. There we go. Okay. And then that is going to get glued onto our crumb cake card base. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. Oh, thanks, Gail. I'm glad you like it. I absolutely adore these little guys. I seriously could play with them for months and months. There's so many possibilities. And whoops, going too fast with my seal. Just a reminder, don't be in too much of a hurry when you're using seal on embossed cardstock because it will pull up your cardstock. There we go. There is our cute little gnome card. Isn't that sweet? I absolutely love these little guys. All right, so that is number 2. Glad you like it. Thanks, Penny. Thanks, Deb. All right, last card is this one. So this is a fun little easel card. Again, I'm a big fan of easel cards because I feel like they're really easy wows, right? It just looks really, really cute for somebody to have this sitting on their table. So it opens up like that, and you get this cute little winter scene with our gnome with the lantern and our cute little guy peeking out from under his hat. So I'm going to show you how I did this one. So let's start with our card base. So again, same dimensions as the pumpkin card. So it's 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Okay, exactly the same. Scored in the middle at 5 1/2, exactly the same. This is where we're going to add the extra score line. Remember how in the first card I gave you the wrong measurement? I said 2 3/4. That's for this card. Okay, so this one is scored. There's an extra score line at 2 3/4. The first card, it was scored at 2 1/8. This is scored at 2 3/4. Okay, so we're going to fold our card base in half. Thanks, June. Thanks, Martine. Thanks, Margie. I'm glad you like them. All right, so we fold it in half just like we normally would. And then we have that extra score line that we're going to fold inwards. We're going to create a little mountain here. Again, you just want to take your time to make sure that your scores are straight and everything's going to be nice and square. Okay. All right. So now we are going to add some DSP to the front of our card here. Got to pull out all my little bits and pieces. So we have 2 pieces. These are each 2 1/2 by 4 inches. Okay. So they're going to get adhered, one on the top section and one on the bottom section, just like that. So I'm going to, again, use a bit of liquid glue just to maneuver these into place. So we'll pop this guy on here. Again, just want to make sure they're straight and you have equal borders all the way around. And then this guy goes on the top. And when I do this, I like to flip it upside down so I can line up my edges. I find that easier. So I'm paying attention here. I want it to look almost like a continuous piece, even though there's a break in the middle. Okay, so my edges are lined up. So that is the front of our card. We're also going to add a panel on the inside. So this is just 4 by 5 1/4 inches. Okay, it's going to get glued to the inside of our card base. And for this, I can use some seal. I keep waiting for this roll of seal to run out. It's very, very close to the end. I've got a refill ready to go because I knew I probably wouldn't make it all the way through my video without having to refill it. All right, so there we go. Okay, we've got our DSP on. We're going to set that aside for a few minutes, and we're going to work on our little scene here. So we have here a crumb cake stitched rectangle. So again, this is cut with the stitched rectangle dies. And then I have a piece, another pattern of the DSP that I can't remember the measurements right now. I will put them in the video description afterwards. But it is going to just sit inside that stitched rectangle die cut. So we're going to go ahead and glue that on. So we'll pop this on. Oh, thanks, Julie. I'm glad you like them. I seriously can't get enough of these little gnomes. I think I may have to do a class with them. I just can't stop playing with them. Love them. All right, so there we go. And then I have a whole bunch of little bits and pieces. So let's start with our trees. So these trees are cut from Pool Party and Bermuda Bay cardstock. And I use the spruced up dies for this. So I mentioned that these little gnomes coordinate with so many different products. And I love playing around and decorating them. It's almost like paper dolls when you're playing with these little guys. You can put them in different scenes and different seasons and whatnot. So here we have the spruced up dies. Okay, we have large and small trees. And then the spruced up dies also have these little strings of lights. So I cut them from white cardstock, and then I use my Stampin' Blends to color them. Okay, so really, really easy to customize your string of lights to the colors of your card. So I got adhesive sheets again on the back. So we're going to peel those off, and we're going to put lights in our Christmas trees. I know it's early, but there's nothing wrong with putting your lights up early, right? So maybe some of you haven't taken yours down yet. Any of you still have your lights up from last year? No judgment at all. If it weren't for my husband, ours would still be up too. I'm not gonna lie. He's the one who is in charge of the Christmas lights in our house. Okay, so there is one little strand, and we'll put the other one kind of along the bottom here. And I love that I can just kind of cut these and make them fit. Okay, and then we're going to do the small Bermuda Bay one. So same deal, we'll peel off our backing. Aren't these little lights adorable? Like honestly, if I didn't already have this die set, I would buy it just for the lights. They're so cute. All right, so we're gonna pop these guys on. We'll put, let's do these guys kind of going downwards. One there, and we'll snip that off. And then we'll do another one kind of going, we'll maybe do these ones on an angle this time. And we'll trim off this little guy right there. Okay, there are our decorated Christmas trees. So fun. So they are going to get glued onto our card base right about there. But before we do that, we need some snow. So these are just cloud punches. So punched with the cloud punch from the annual catalog, and they are going to create our snowbanks. So we're going to start by gluing one sort of down towards the bottom. It's going to hang off the bottom, and we will trim off the excess. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue kind of along the bottom of my panel here. And we're going to adhere one little snowbank there. And then this one's going to kind of go up a little bit higher, right about there. Okay, but this one's going to get popped. So we're going to add a couple of dimensionals. And we'll get rid of our backings. And then we'll pop this on right about there. Okay. All right. Now this one decorated pine tree is going, or spruce tree I should say, is going to go over on this side. It's going to get glued flat. So again, I know, aren't the lights adorable, Margie? They're just so fun. I absolutely love them. Can't wait to play with this whole bundle, the spruced up bundle. It's on my list of must play with bundles this fall, so you'll get to see more with it. I'm sure the Christmas lights will make another appearance or 2 or 3 this fall. All right, so there is our smaller tree. Okay, now that glue has dried, so I'm going to go ahead and trim off our clouds here at the bottom. So I'm just using my snips and trimming it straight. We need it to be straight so that when the easel stands up, there's nothing that interferes with it. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella to our snowbanks, because why not? You won't be able to see this on the video. You're just going to have to take my word for it. We'll have nice sparkly snow. The other thing that I did is I added a little bit of Wink to my Christmas lights so that they look like they're glowing on our tree. Okay, and then we're going to work on our little gnome. So I have here one little gnome that I've started coloring, but I left parts of him so that you could see what I did for the shading. So to color the hat, I'm going to start by adding just a layer of dark Pool Party. Okay, so I'm using dark Pool Party and then dark and light Bermuda Bay. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with my dark Pool Party. And I'm just going to add that layer. So we're just going to fill in. I'm not being super careful because we're going to do a whole lot more blending in a minute, but I just want to get that layer down. I find that by putting down a layer of the lightest color first, and then adding the shadows, I find it easier to blend. Okay, so now I'm using the dark Bermuda Bay, and I'm just kind of going along the edges where I want shadow. I'm not adding a lot, just a little bit with the dark. There's going to be more here at the bend and here and then across the top. Okay, then I'm going to come in with my light Bermuda Bay. I know, aren't the clouds perfect snowdress? I know, I was kind of trying to think of something that would be quick and easy. I mean, we have lots of dies that will cut clouds or snowdress, but I thought, what could be quick and easy? Because I'm thinking like prep for classes, right? And the cloud punch is the perfect solution. All right, so I've just added a little bit of the light Bermuda Bay. Okay, I'm kind of coming towards the center. Now I'm going to come back with my dark Pool Party, and I'm going to blend this all out. So I'm going to go right up to the edges and pull that darkest shade inwards. And we're just going to kind of blend them all out. And what the result is you kind of get that lighter section in the middle. And it just gives some dimension to your gnome's hat. There he is. Isn't he cute? All right, now to do his nose, I wanted to give him a little bit of a rosy nose. So I started with my ivory to color the nose first. So I'm going to take my ivory and color the whole nose. And then I'm going to come in with my light Flirty Flamingo. And I'm just going to add a little bit of blush to the top of his nose. Okay, just a hint. And then I'm just going to come in and blend that out ever so slightly. I'm not going to do too much because I don't want to cover up that little bit of blush there, but just blend it out. Okay, and then finally for the shoes, I've done one, but I'll do the second one. So I'm starting with my light crumb cake. So we're just going to add a layer of the light. And then I'm going to come in with my dark just along the bottom. I find I use very little of the dark when you're blending. You can certainly use more if you'd like, but I find blending using the lighter shade gives me more control over just how dark it gets. And then I just brought in my light again and blended that out. Okay, now for his pants, I just used the light crumb cake. Okay, and for his beard, I used light smoky slate. The lantern is colored with dark soft suede, and then the light in the lantern is dark, so saffron. Okay, all right, so there are our little gnomies. So this guy is going to go on to our snowdrift here. He's going to kind of be standing along the bottom of the snowdrift. He's going to get glued flat because we've already popped that snowdrift, if you recall. Oh, I think I'm finally out of Sale. We're very close to it. So there is our little gnome. Isn't he adorable? Love him. All right, so now we're going to add our sentiment. So I have here a little banner cut from crumb cake cardstock using, again, the Stylish Shapes dies. And thank you. Oh, you're cutting for salsa. Way to multitask, Krista, way to multitask. All right, so we are going to stamp our warm wishes, and I have to move this down. I'm sorry if it goes off the camera, but I gotta move it down so I can have a hope of stamping straight here. That's not bad. It's not center, but that's okay. So we're going to actually glue this on here with some dimensionals, but we're first going to add a little bit of linen thread, which apparently I also forgot. It's over there. There we go. Whoops, I got a bonus bow. We'll use that on another project later. All right, so we're going to start by just wrapping a little bit of the linen thread around our banner here. And I'm just doing this to kind of get an idea for length. So we're going to trim that off. And then I'm going to tie a knot. So this is one of the rare occasions you're actually going to see me wrap something and tie it. Usually I do my little bow hack, but this is such a little tiny piece of cardstock. We're not really wasting anything by wrapping the twine. So there we go. Tie our little bow. Play around with our loops until we get them looking the way we want them. And then I'm going to trim my tails. And I'm actually going to manipulate this a little bit because I want it to go a little bit more to the side. There we go. So this now is going to get glued on with a couple of dimensionals. Oh, that's okay, Tracy. I feel ya. I haven't started school prep. That's next week. I am still on vacation this week, and I am going to enjoy every last minute. Next week will be a different story. Next week I will be in full school mode. All right, so then we're going to just flip this over. I'm going to move my bow out of the way so I don't accidentally cut it. And then we're just going to trim this off. Okay, so there is our little sentiment. Cute, cute. And then this whole panel is going to get glued to the front of our card. Now this is a little bit different. Normally on an easel card, I would center this, right, and have it pop up that way. But because I kind of want this to look like one sort of continuous scene, I kind of want my image to be at the base so that when it pops up, it kind of gets incorporated with the inside of my card. So we're going to glue this so that it is flush with that bottom edge. Once again, making sure that we only put our glue on this bottom section because we don't want to stick our card flat. So I'm going to just open this up so that I can see exactly where my bottom edge is and center that and stick it down. Okay, now that'll stand up and be flush. Okay, all right, so now to work on the inside section, we have another stitch rectangle, same size as the one we had on the front, except this one is in basic white. And we are going to once again stamp our Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. What did I use? Crumb cake. I'm going to stamp this off really, really well because I used it with Pacific Point ink and I don't have my scrub over here. So we're going to hope that we get something that is, you know what, I'm actually not going to risk it. I'm going to do it in early espresso because it's a darker color and we don't have to worry about the blue coming through on that one. All right, so I'm going to stamp once again my Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Again, a little bit lower than I normally would, okay, just because I want to, you know, allow my easel to do its thing. And then we have a cute little Christmas tree left over. Okay, we've got one and our little gnome. So this guy's going to hang off the edge just a bit. So we'll add just a little bit of liquid glue on the one side. And pop this on. And then our little gnome is going to be sitting just in front of the tree there. We'll glue him on. And pop that on just like that. Okay, and then we're going to add some dimensionals to adhere this. So again, this is a great time to use the borders of your dimensional sheets when you have a large piece like this. However, this sheet is not quite ready to say goodbye. So I'm just going to use dimensionals, but using the borders is a great way to glue on these large pieces. And then if I show you here, just see how once again my piece is glued flush with the bottom edge of the DSP. That's to allow room for my easel. Okay, so once again I'm going to stick this on, hopefully centered and straight. We're just going to get this lined up on our grid paper and we'll center this and stick her down, and there's our cute little easel. Isn't that a fun card? Love them. All right, so those are our 3 projects for today. Before you go, I have a whole bunch more samples to show you. So I hope you have a couple more minutes because like I said, I kind of went a little crazy with this bundle, this suite. I just love it so much. So let me show you a few more ideas, okay? So we'll get these out of the way. So one of the coordinating products that I love with this suite is the Ringed with Love Sale-a-bration DSP. It is perfect for these little gnomes. So this is one that I did using the tree rings dies and a cute little gnome. Here's one I posted earlier that has a little wizard for Halloween, again using a pumpkin and some of the toadstools. This is a reel that I just posted earlier this afternoon. Super quick and easy card, non-traditional colors. Back to traditional Christmas. So here's one that I did, a little bit rustic looking with our little gnome with his lantern. Here's another one. I love the gnome with the lantern for Christmas, so I kind of am partial to that image. These trees are using the tree lot dies, which sadly have sold out. So if you got them for Sale-a-bration, this is a cute little idea to try. There's some more Christmas lights, but that's using the tree lot die set. And then again, here's some more Ringed with Love designer paper. Here's our little girl gnome saying, I miss you. And then we also have a little boy gnome saying, I miss you. They miss each other. But again, just playing with that Ringed with Love designer paper. Such a perfect fit for these products. And then some more Ringed with Love, another cute little, you know me so well. Love him. Here is one that's similar to the easel card that I did, but this is just a standard card. Okay, using a slightly different color scheme. Here's a fun fold that I did. So this one stands up like this, but uses some of the little woodland scenes that are in the designer paper. Again, the only stamping on this card is the sentiment. Super, super simple. And then this is that same double floating panel gatefold card that I showed you last week, but this one opens up like this and creates a cute little scene with the gnome and his woodland friends. So there are some ideas, and I'll show you a couple of swaps as well. This one I wanted to show you, they actually use some of the puff paint on the beard. So he has a fuzzy, puffy beard on this one. This is a cute little pocket card. These are all swaps that I've received. And then I love this one. It's super simple, but it's got lots of pattern and texture. Just really, really cute. So lots of ideas with this adorable suite, and I hope you have fun playing with it. I certainly have, and I think I probably will continue to play with it because it's just too much fun to play around with. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, Margie, you have COVID. I'm so sorry. I hope you get feeling better soon and that you recover completely. I hope you enjoyed these little projects, and I hope you check out this suite. It's really, really lots of fun. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me this week. I'll see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.